That's a giant reminder that you're not too small or too inconsequential to make a difference. So as you go into the weekend, think on that. It's The Conversation on TOSTV Network, your digital first Pan-African news network, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. We're going to be having, quite an interesting talk during the Big Story segment. But before then, allow me bring you stories and happenings from across the African continent, starting with Somalia. Somalia's government spokesman on Thursday returned home from Turkey, where he had been receiving treatment for wounds he sustained in an attack by Islamist militants in mid-January. A policeman at the scene of the attack said the attacker attempted to get onto the vehicle transporting the spokesman before detonating explosives, partially destroying the vehicle. And to Burkina Faso, a 30-month transitional period to elections following a military coup in January is in the works for Burkina Faso. A source at the presidency made the statement after a commission tasked with making proposals handed its report to the ruling junta. And to Kenya, so President Uhuru Kenyatta has officially endorsed longtime rival and opposition leader Raila Odinga to succeed him in Kenya's August 9 presidential elections. President Kenyatta, urging his supporters to back Odinga's bid, said he had the best interest of the country at heart, adding that Odinga understood where the country was heading and that he would therefore be at peace to hand him the leadership mantle. I'm sure nobody saw that one coming. Well, that's it for stories and happenings from across Africa. I'll be bringing you COVID-19 updates from across Africa right now. And afterwards, we're going straight to the conversation of today. That's the big story. You're still watching The Conversation on TOSTV Network, and as I always say, you have to be part of the conversation. Join TOSTV Network across all social media platforms. TOSTV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to the channel, that's TOSTV Network on YouTube, and stream our website, www.tostvnetwork.com, for news and happenings from across the world. Now, straight into the big story. That's the conversation for today. So last week, it was said that Nigeria recorded a 3.4% increase in GDP. The first, in 7 years. That's the strongest GDP growth in 7 years. That's since 2014. And then so today on the conversation, I'm just going to be looking at how reflective is that growth in the Nigerian society. And to join me in, having that conversation here in the studio is Mr. Charles Ozwemena, communication and media expert. Thank you for joining me in the conversation.
Thank you, Adesola. Thank you, viewers. Good morning.
All right. So straight into it. What do you make of this news? The revelation that Nigeria has improved, tremendously. Nigeria's economy has improved tremendously, the first time in 7 years, going by the cost of living of Nigerians and then maybe the increased poverty rate.
Well, on the surface of it, it's that's a beautiful development, very commendable. But like I said, the subterranean undercurrent of that growth shows a different flip altogether. Very good question. Is it reflecting in the life of the people and the actual economy itself? I would say it's a beautiful nonsense. Yeah, because if you look at the areas we recorded that growth, these are not the areas that generate the jobs that the government have promised us.
Yeah.
The area of metal ore, electricity, steam, gas, and all that. These are not areas that generate jobs, and of course coal mining. But the area that generate jobs, manufacturing, agriculture, construction, that can, kind of take out this great number of unemployed youths and then give them job, they are not performing. And so it's quite deceptive and it should not be used. I know government has been celebrating it, but we are not celebrating it because, come on, what are you celebrating when you have almost more than 33.38 trillion debt, and our GDP ratio is bad with currently at 36.5%, with running towards 46%. according to IMF. And these are not good stories. Okay, if you look at last year, January to November, we generated over 13.5 trillion naira, and we spent 12 point something trillion. So what are you saving? There is nothing. And then a deficit of over 7 trillion naira. So the economy is not performing when the extreme poverty rate is still at 90 million Nigerians are under extreme poverty. And you have 80 million Nigerians unemployed. And out of that 80 million, 34 million of them are youths. So you can't say that our economy is actually growing. And then that is deceptive. And of course, when you go to the market, it's a different ballgame altogether.
Yeah.
An inflation rate that is hovering between 16 and 17.5%. It's not showing a good, it's not a good, a good record. So all in all, if you look at it, for me, that figure 3.4, it's a beautiful nonsense. And of course, IMF have equally come to say in 2022 that this year we're going to grow at 3.0%. Fine and good, 3.3%. Fine and good, because when you look at our population growth rate, it's 2.7%.
Yeah.
So in other words, we are having an economic performance that is now greater than the population ratio, which is a very good development. But all in all, if you look at some of these factors I've raised, you find out that, come on, that figure 3.4, deceptive.
Okay, you mentioned earlier, some of the sectors that actually, generated the increase that we're talking about. And then, funnily, all of those sectors were non-oil sectors. So there was agriculture, there was trade and investment, there was telecommunication, that generated like 90% of their growth. And the oil sector was just a little bit of that. But Nigeria is still largely dependent on, oil, despite it not, doing so much for the economy. Does that spell misplaced priority for Nigeria at this point?
I agree. I even have a grievier opinion. Majority of the youths are not working. They are trading. All of them are trading on the net. Bitcoin, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
How can a nation generate the wealth when you are even praying for Naira continue to fall so that I can trade on dollar? This country is heading to the doom. That's why the youths are, most of the youths are going into what? Ritual killing, because they want easy money. Relationship between youngsters now, between a man and a woman, becoming very suspicious because some of the guys use their girlfriends for ritual. And even the life of the parents are in jeopardy because they are using their parents, their mothers and fathers for ritual. It's a doom we are heading. And you cannot sit, you are working on the computer, you are not doing anything. We are not producing. A nation can only grow when it produces to earn money from outside. We are not producing. If you look at our trade interaction, international trade interactions, you'll find out that majority of what we consume are imported. And our psychology, our psyche has been turned upside down to see whatever that is made in Nigeria as an inferior and never to be consumed. So you prefer, if you look at everything here, if you look at this studio, for example, everything here is only few of them that are local. Majority of them are imported. If you look at whatever we wear, even our fashion, everything, if you wear the one of Nigeria, it doesn't confer you that status. We are a crazy society, a status conferred crazy society. Everybody wants to be big boy and big girl.
Yeah.
But big boy and big girl producing what? How the money comes, we don't bloody care. So you go, whatever, all they want to see you is with a posh car, a palatial home, even when we make money, number of babes that we get, number of wives that we marry, and whatnot. If you look at it, how many of us are channeling the money into productive sector? And even if you come to each area of making the business ease of business, for startups, it's a Herculean task. Even when you have a beautiful idea, for you to start it, the society will not support you. They will allow you to either swim or die in it. And so many ideas that would have generated multi-billion-dollar for this nation is all stationed inside computers, it's all domiciled in our computers, because even when you want to start it off, nobody to support you. The government has no any supporting platform for you to engage in. Even in those supporting platforms, like what do they call it? Some of these social safety net programs that government have designed. If you find out that how many people go into it, how many people with real ideas get to it, it's equally about who you know, who you can connect to before you get. So the country need a regeneration. We need to start. You know, when something is heading, we are hanging on a cliffhanger. And that's why when I saw that growth, and I smiled, I said, okay, beautiful. Okay, but is it reflective in the daily life? Go and check out. If you look at every employed Nigerian is taking care of 5 people. So when you employ one person, you've given food to averagely 5 people. But when you don't have that employment, that means 5 people are hanging without food. So calculate 5 times 80 million. It's crazy. It gives you a figure that you now begin to wonder, hey, come on, where are we heading to? So the issue is, you go to the market, what you buy now, go by tomorrow, the price will change. Wives and husbands are quarreling daily, because even if you give your wife 50,000 or 100,000 to go to the market, what she brings in are only a few bags, and that cannot even last the family for 2 weeks. And then you begin to wonder, comparatively to what have happened in the last 10, 15 years, is a different thing altogether. So we are heading to the cliffhanger, but what we need to do is to come back to the drawing board.
Okay.
Bring in all the best of the economists that we have, bring in those with the higher grade of opinion who have the mental capacity for world generation. That is why 2023 is key. Who are we going to elect as president of Nigeria will determine whether we are going to come out of this rubbish or not. Okay. If you want to go by primordial sentiments, okay, this one is my ethnic man, this one is my religious man. We did it in the previous time, and where has it landed us? So we must now bring out technocrats as leaders that can save us. Okay, there is a prediction that even our debt overhang, our debt will what I call is scurry to almost about 40 trillion before the expiration of this regime.
Okay.
I don't know how that can stop, but I don't know how that can be arrested.
Okay.
If it does, that means that if we are bringing in somebody who does not have economic and financial sense to do or to lead this country, we are going to go into deeper trouble.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining me on the show this morning. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to have you. And thank you for staying with me until this time on the conversation. Don't forget that the conversation comes to you every weekday. That's Mondays to Friday. But before then, follow TOSTV Network across all social media platforms. It's TOSTV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. It's TOSTV Network. And of course, through my website at www.tostvnetwork.com. Thank you again. My name is Adeswa Osui, and please have a very restful weekend.